Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering using ChatGPT to write a book. AI tools like ChatGPT can offer so many benefits and opportunities. I use ChatGPT pretty regularly, but not the way you probably think. Stay tuned for my own insights about writing your best book using AI tools. By the end of this video, you will learn the best ways to use ChatGPT when writing a book, the importance of organizing and outlining, and why you shouldn't just pass off AI text as your own. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. It's interesting to kind of step back and think about AI and large language models. It's really frustrating to think that my work was stolen, which it was. It was illegally stolen, and because of the fact that I wrote these books, in line to get settlement money out of it. And I think that's an important balancing act with AI. You know, there's the good and the bad. There's the positive and the negative. I tend to focus heavily on the positive, and we're going to focus in this video on the positive. You know, but there's also that separate side of where did the information come from. I like to use AI tools like ChatGPT to analyze and interpret and look for patterns and look for opportunities where I might not see them. I think it's so common for authors to think, I'm going to use ChatGPT to write my book. You know, I know of so many people I work with that are like, oh, I got my research from ChatGPT. I'm like, is it accurate? Is it correct? Is it stolen from somebody? At the same time, you can actually dig deep, and I feel the same way about Wikipedia. You can go and use these tools, learn what sources they're using, and then go to the actual tools. Interpret them yourself. You can use these tools to get deeper on your research, which is amazing. I love that side of it. I love the ability to look at the sources being used and then go to the primary sources. That's what this is all about. This is about writing an original story that's individually, authentically yours. Tools like ChatGPT are amazing at outlining, amazing with coming up with ideas, and I use it in both of those capacities. I use ChatGPT in NotebookLM, which is another large language model tool, for outlining. I will plug conversations or ideas into it and say, give me a sample outline to work from. You know, and then from there I actually adjust it. And sometimes it's a complete miss. Sometimes it's completely off, and I'm like, nope, reject. But at the same time, it's great to be able to see how it's all being organized, how it puts the information together in a different way than you might have considered it. Ideation is another great thing. You know, if I'm working on a project, and I work on a lot of different ghostwriting projects involving topics that I may or may not be an expert in. You know, if I'm working on a book about usage-based economics, a topic that I don't know a lot about going in, I might consult ChatGPT and say, you know, tell me some ideas about blank, you know? And then I can kind of bring those up in conversation and we can explore them, you know, when I'm working with an author on a project. So it's this balancing act, recognizing that there's so many powerful tools that can be used to help you, you know, cover blind spots, cover the missed opportunities that you weren't deciphering or picking up the first time around when you're working on the book. But I think it's important to recognize the power of those tools in that limited capacity. And when I say limited capacity, I truly mean that. The results that you're getting when you put in a prompt in ChatGPT aren't always accurate. It even has a description on there. It tells you these aren't accurate. If they're not accurate, don't pass off the text as your own. Don't pass off this text as something I wrote myself. And I know we all do it. I know when we have that tough email we need to send, ChatGPT, and we go to prompt and we say, you know, give me a form email that I can use to tell somebody I can't go to their birthday party, whatever, you know. Give me an idea for a text message. We all do it, you know, and there's a pacing and a pattern that's used. And it's interesting to see what it comes up with. And sometimes it's really useful. Those are limited basis things. No one's going to read your email and say, you know what, the voice doesn't sound quite right on this email. Yeah, they might, you know, question it if it sounds AI written and say, I think they wrote this email with AI. You know, but at the same time, it's not an overarching thing. With a book, it's different. You know, when I'm reading a manuscript, and I have so many manuscripts that are sent to me, I can almost automatically pick out the spots that were written by AI, and I'm probably 80% accurate on this. I'll go in the checker, I'll plug in some text and say, was this written by AI? And most of the time I'm right. It's because of the pacing. It's because of the way the sentences are structured, the way the punctuation is laid out, the way it all kind of sounds this, sing-songy way, but it doesn't actually say anything, When you're writing a book, you're sharing a message because you want the reader to learn something. You want to share this message with the world. You have something to say. The reader's hopefully going to have something to read and learn from. There's so much that you have in your unique message, in your story, that isn't going to come through an AI. Your unique message is the selling point for the book. It's what makes the book worth buying and reading. So if you take that away and give it to AI and say, all right, AI, write me a book about this, it takes away the uniqueness, it takes away the things that you do well, individually, personally, that are going to make a reader want to read, and it just pulls back everything, We've all read the AI prompt results and said, it's boring. It's boring when it comes through. I've actually seen AI-generated manuscripts. These companies will pop up, oh, we'll write a book for you for $79. And it's gibberish. I've seen their results. I've seen their books. Not only is it poorly written and boring, the books don't make any sense. The table of contents is a mess. It's a complete mess. If your table of contents is a mess, why is somebody going to want to read it? It doesn't matter how cheaply you made it. If no one wants to read it, it's not going to have the impact you want it to. You could send it to a bunch of people. It's not going to have the impact. You want the book to have impact. It's going to have impact if you bring your own personality and your unique message. When you're using AI to create text, it's taking this collective. It's taking all the results, this big brew of internet slop, and putting it together for you, which means your book's going to sound like everybody else's. It's taking away all the things that somebody would want to read your book for. So don't do it. Please don't do it. For me, it's this balancing act of effective, thoughtful uses of AI, doing it the right way. I use AI for automatic transcription for conversations. It's a game changer for me. I will take an audio conversation, I'll plug it into Otter or Rev, which are two AI tools, and within minutes, I'll have a transcript that I can then use and adjust and tweak and turn into chapter text. It's amazing. It's incredible. I love it. It's the best. It has made my life that much better because otherwise I was sitting there transcribing the whole conversation. If I'm having a 3-hour call with somebody, it's going to take me at least that long, if not longer, to go back and listen to the key points. What if I missed something? And now I need to go back. What if I missed something from 2 conversations ago? And I don't even know which conversation it's in. Even just the ability to search for different outcomes and answers and to be able to find something quickly by using different search terms. It's amazing. It's a great tool. So that's a great AI tool. Ideation's a great way to use AI. People use Grammarly and other tools for editing. It's hit or miss. Sometimes it cleans the text too much. It over cleans it, takes the uniqueness out of it. I get the pull of it. I think there's a lot of benefit from using tools like Grammarly. It always gets me when it pops up, this automatic thing. Automatically wants to edit everything I write. And I'm like, go away. I don't need you. I don't need your help. But sometimes you do. So it's good to have the tool available at some points. But recognize that you don't want to over-edit the book and the draft to the point where it's flat. You don't want that. You want your writing to really stand out. I think a lot of times when I encounter authors that have used ChatGPT and AI to write their draft, it tells me that they needed help. They needed help to begin with from somebody who is doing this professionally, from a ghostwriter, from a writing coach. They didn't know what they were doing, and then they turned to AI, and now they're coming back to a professional like me and saying, I want to take the AI out of my draft and make it reader-friendly. It's like, well, if you would have done this in the early going, you would have saved a lot of time. Now we have to go back and declunk and declutter and take the AI speak out of the draft. And how do you do that? How do you separate it once it's there? It's a struggle. It is a struggle, and I think it's so important to be reasonable and smart about how you're using these tools. So often people can use it in the wrong ways, and they just work themselves into trouble. And now they have to spend that much more time fixing the problem that would have been easily corrected otherwise. Be smart about it, be clear about it, and don't let these AI tools get in the way of your unique message. If you want to learn more about using ChatGPT to write a book, there's another video I recorded that I want you to check out. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called I Need Help to Write My Book. In that video, I dive deep on the help that you can use to write your book and bring out your story in the most powerful way, whether that's ghostwriting, whether that's coaching, whether that's group support. There's so many other opportunities beyond just using AI, and I want you to be aware of them. So definitely check that out. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.